The Golf Channel proudly presents the future stars of the game. We've come to West Texas for live third-round coverage of the Nike Permian Basin Open. It's a toasty 95 degrees in Odessa, Texas, but moderate winds today, just 10 to 15 miles per hour compared to about 25 to 30 over the first two rounds of this event. After 36 holes of play, rounds of 69-68, Hugh Royer led by one over three different players. And with the wind down, players are taking full advantage of Mission Dorado. This would be for his sixth birdie on the day and for the outright lead.
6 birdies in 10 holes. That's over half the holes that Tim Connolly's birdieing. These guys are tearing it up today.
Let's go to 13 now. Jeff Breho, coast to coast here from the fringe.
Didn't hit a good tee shot into the left fringe of the green from 40 feet. Hello.
7th birdie on the day for Breho. 5 under on the day, 7 under on the tournament. Our current leaderboard looks something like this. After birdies at the 2nd, the 6th, and the 7th, Hugh Royer the 3rd hanging on to a one-shot lead over Tim Connolly. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner along with Jim Nelford. A little less wind, and all of a sudden the boys start making birdies.
Well, their defensive strategy just went right out the window. When they woke up and saw these flags lying limp, they said, well, we can go right back into offense, which we're used to playing out here on the Nike Tour, and they certainly have. They're going right at every pin. All
right, Jim, let's take a look at the par 5s on the backside. Certainly a bit more accessible today without the wind.
Well, I think so. The 11th hole is a 530-yard par 5, and it's a good driving hole with this bunker on the right, guarding the right side, and mounds with a lot of rough on the left side of the fairway. With a hard crosswind, it's a tough drive. At 530 yards, though, and no wind, these guys can get to this green easily today, and the pin's just over the bunker, so we might see some eagles like Chris Smith just made. Now, the 15th hole is a different story. It was straight into a hard breeze the first 2 days, and hardly anybody could get to the green in 2. Today, though, there's hardly any breeze, and most of the field will have a go at it. If they can get it over this cross bunker 40 yards in front of the green, they might be able to knock it on, and we might see some eagles there also.
All right, out on the golf course, following a very talented twosome, a couple of winners on the Nike Tour this year, is our Gary Smith. Gary?
Thanks, Denny. Well, Hugh Royer finds himself 15th on the money list right now, having played 20 events. As you said, he's won once, and finds himself in a position, if he could win here, could definitely move himself into that top 10 on the money list and maybe get that PGA Tour card. Michael Christie finds himself 21st on the money list, having played just 11 events, which is remarkable. He wasn't exempt at the beginning of the year for the Nike Tour, played his way onto it, and has won an event, so really has played well throughout the year, and also has a chance to move into that top 10 with a good finish here this week also. Russell Beardsdorf is 141st on the money list, having just played 4 events and having won $5,000. Watching this threesome today, we should see, if they put themselves in position for a good move tomorrow, 3 players that want to move into that top 10 and get that PGA Tour card.
All right, Gary, make sure you have the sunblock on. Peter Kessler will also be out on the golf course for us today. And Peter, you're following a guy who's thinking about $200,000 in earnings, and I'm speaking of Jerry Kelly.
Well, as always, you put it accurately and elegantly, because Jerry Kelly's a player to watch today and in the future. Like former Nike Tour players David Duval and Woody Austin enjoying standout seasons on the PGA Tour, Jerry Kelly, number 2 in earnings so far this year, with 2 wins, seeking his 3rd, is a player to watch now and in the future. He's played great all year, continues to play consistently around the country. Look for him to continue that trend.
Thank you very much, Peter. Let's go now to the par 3 13th, playing at 199 yards today, and Tim Connolly, who has a red-hot round going.
Well, he certainly does, Danny, and 36 out of the first 10. That's the kind of start you like to get off to on Saturday.
He's played the last couple of weeks, had some health problems over the last year to year and a half with an inner ear infection and imbalance, but said that's all behind him now. He feels very good about his game.
And today on 13's cut just 5 yards from the right edge of the green.
There you go. Come on.
He's got it pinned high and
Keep telling myself.
just missed the green to the right.
Let's go now to the 9th. Brent Geiberger for a birdie here at a tough par 4 to get to 8 under.
And you can get fooled on these greens, Denny. These are well-designed greens, a lot of subtle breaks. You have to be very careful on the greens.
To 15 we go. Jeff Breho with his 3rd, and there you see, Jim, how close he is to the green at 15.
Darn near pin high, and that's the bailout area just to the right of the green, and he looks like he's drawn a good lie. Chip it up to this plateau where the pin is. Got to get up a little bit, and that's just at the bottom of that plateau.
A moment ago, let's go to the 12th. The second shot of Chris Smith coming off an eagle at 11.
Made a nice little 15-footer for eagle on 11.
Oh, gosh, darn it.
And he came over that a little bit, hit a little long and left.
And let's go back now to the 9th. Roger Salazar, who was coasting today and then made a triple bogey at the 4th. Still just 2 shots off the lead.
Just made a pile of birdies right off the bat and gave them all back on the 4th. Rogers, tremendous wind player. He'd love to see this wind pick up in the afternoon a little bit.
Don't think he quite saw the line there.
Well, after watching Brent Geiberger's, he just didn't hit a good putt there. He never did have the ball on line.
Let's go now to the 14th. Eric Johnson at 8 under par with his second shot.
After 4 birdies in a row, and bailed out on the tee shot just a little bit, which is very easy to do on 14.
Oh, serious knuckleball. Look out. 18 miles over the greens. Oh, maybe not.
Changed his mind when the ball hit on the front part of the green. Look at Eric. Well, you know it's going good, Jim, when you think it's going over the green and you end up 15 feet.
Well, I see our job isn't so easy after all, Eric. You guys don't even know where it's going.
Tell you what, his wrist is hurting a little bit, too, after hacking it out of the rough. Let's go now to 10, and Jerry Kelly, who is also climbing up the leaderboard, this from just 70 yards away.
Well, you can see the wind has started to pick up again, and so these leaders probably only played 4 or 5 holes with no wind, Denny, but the guys who got out first in the middle of the pack have played about 3/4 of their round with no wind.
Deft little wedge shot there, right in for another birdie possibility. Jerry 3 under on the day. A birdie there draws him to within 1 of Hugh Royer III. Sit back. This is going to be fun watching the Nike boys get after it today. Today's tournament coverage is being brought to you by Nicklaus Golf, makers of the new N1 Bear irons and metalwoods. By South Carolina, inviting you to come visit our smiling faces and beautiful places. And by Izod Club. A shirt like this comes along once in a lifetime.
The hands of Jack Nicklaus have driven 380-yard greens in playoff pressure. They've buried 40-foot putts to determine the outcome of major tournaments. And they've made golf balls perform in ways others never dreamed possible. Today, they bring you the new progressive-sized Bear iron. Isn't it time you put your game in Jack's hands?
Looks like you're going to need a small bucket.
Maybe next time, I'm going to need a large bucket.
Right. Tim Connolly with a short little chip shot at 13. Nice work there for an easy par. Back to the 9th we go. Hugh Royer III set to play his second shot.
Just under 100 yards. Ooh, Hugh Royer rips the flag.
Well, we saw him go to work the final round down there in Richmond, Jim, and you want to talk about knocking out the flag stick.
When he gets it going, he really does get clued in and doesn't want to back off at all either, so he's a fun player to watch with the lead.
Spent some time with his coach, Don Trahan. Got things straightened away. Very simple, repeatable swing. A moment ago at 15, after a short little pitch, Jeff Brejo trying to make birdie.
Up the ridge now. This putt going to break a little bit to his left.
Would have been for his 8th birdie on the day. Let's go back now to the 10th. Frank Connor with a birdie chance. Peter?
And that metronome putting stroke from about 13 feet, an inside right edge putt. He must have heard me.
Just poured that one over the front edge. Ahead to 12. And Phil Tatarangi from 20 feet for a birdie.
12th hole, just a 385-yard par 4. Water up the left side. Putt should break to Phil's left, off the mound just in front of him. Here it comes. Man, can these guys putt.
To 10 for birdie. Ooh, Jerry Kelly. Hold on, Jerry. What was it, an earthquake here in Odessa? Oh, he didn't like that stroke.
It's almost like as soon as he took it back, oops. That's the wrong thought, wrong swing.
He's got some golf left. Interesting. We talk about a guy like Jerry Kelly, Jim. Do you think his game suits the PGA Tour? He is awfully aggressive out there, as you can see by those numbers.
Well, I think so. On the PGA Tour now, it seems that you make your money in bunches, and that means you've got to be aggressive. You've got to fire some flags. You've got to know a couple flags to fire away from, though, on the PGA Tour. They'll tuck a few more pins than they do out here.
Chris Smith now trying to save par at 14. And does so nicely. A two-time winner thus far on the Nike Tour in 1995. Jerry Kelly made that comebacker at 10, so he stays 2 shots behind Hugh Royer III. And now let's go back to the 9th. And Michael Christie's down there somewhere, isn't he, Gary?
I'm here, and Michael's faced with about a 40-foot putt. Quite a little bit uphill. One that he'd like to cozy on up there.
Keep him off those things.
Softly. Oh, rest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Christie even par on the day. He's got that left to stay at that number.
14, Eric Johnson.
Ahead to 14 after hitting a knuckleball from the right rough. And now Eric Johnson in an effort to get to 9 under par.
And he's got a putt that'll break just slightly towards the front edge of the green. Already made 4 in a row. This will be for his 5th, so to gouge it out of a terrible lie over there. Birdied the first hole and then started his string on the back.
Like he drilled that one right through the break.
Exactly.
Let's go back now to 14T, probably the toughest tee shot on this golf course, and Tim Conley, who is one back.
Very difficult driving hole with water all the way up the left side. Mounds on the right. Important tee shot.
Good swing, Tim.
His partners like it. And there it is, on the left side of the fairway.
What are you trying to do? do to you.
Let's go to 15 now, and Robert Wren from the rough.
Just to the right of the green. Bailed out a second shot a little bit. Hit a nice pitch up to about 10 feet.
A moment ago, this coming at the 9th. Russell Beiersdorf for birdie.
Reach.
And now live to the 9th, and Hugh Royer the 3rd to get a 2-shot lead.
About 12 feet. Shouldn't move that much.
And you can see the speed of these greens. Guys are able to take runs at them.
Let's go now to the par 4 10th, and Roger Salazar.
Tenth hole, 415-yard par 4. Pin cut right up front.
Well, if not for that disaster at the 4th, Jim, he'd be leading this golf tournament.
And that's an unusual score to have on a par 3. Also 170-yard par 3.
To his credit, he's put it out of his mind, at least for the time being. Now Hugh Royer the 3rd to stay at 10 under. To the 13th now, and long hitting Chris Smith, 13, playing 199 yards.
Chris most likely going with a little 5-iron. Wind blowing right to left. Oh, a beautiful shot, pin high.
To the 11th a moment ago, this for Eagle Jackson Brigman, who had a hole-in-one yesterday at 17.
Tough putt from this portion of the green, but a good lag down to about 2 feet for Jackson. He'll make his birdie. He's birdied 5, 6, 7, and now 11.
And now live to the 11th, Franklin Langham with this left for a birdie and to get to 8 under par.
Pretty straight putt from here. Guys will try to read something into it, but it just doesn't want to break. Almost straight up the hill.
Franklin 3 under on the day, and let one get away. Won this tournament in 1993 and playing well once again this year. Back with more of our live 3rd round coverage of the Nike Permian Basin Open, only on the Golf Channel after this.
Hi, I'm Arnold Palmer. Here's a chance for you to win a round of golf with me at my Bay Hill Club in Orlando, Florida.
To enter, recruit your fellow golfers to subscribe to the Golf Channel, a network for golfers by golfers. And as a special bonus, for the first person you recruit, we'll give you a free sleeve of Titleist golf balls. For each additional golfer you sign up for the channel, you receive another shot at playing golf with the king. So start recruiting today. Send in the names and cable or satellite account numbers of the friends you've recruited to Arnie's Army, Box 1387, Palmetto, Florida, 34220-1387.
Thanks for watching the Golf Channel, and maybe we'll be teeing it up together.
Hugh Royer the 3rd with a victory earlier this year in the Dominion Open down in Richmond, leading by 1 over Tim Connolly. And let's take a look at Hugh's tee shot here at the 10th.
Bunkers up the left-hand side of the fairway and kind of a depression on the right, so need to drive it good here. He looks like he's missed it left.
The Freddie Couples miss dead in the center of the fairway.
What the heck was that all about?
To 16, the second shot of Jeff Breho.
see up there.
Now the 16th hole. Pin cut all the way back left today. 400-yard par 4. It's played easy all week.
Long hitting Dave Miley now. Designs, I think, on trying to reach this green in 2, Peter?
And 250 yards with an absolutely perfect line left center of the fairway.
Now he's missed that in a place where he's got to pitch straight back up the hill towards the flag, so that won't hurt him much. Not a bad place to miss it, really.
Ahead to 13, Phil Tatarangi. Right around where Jeff Breho was when he sunk it from the other side of the green. Phil coming off a birdie at the 12th.
Well, Mounds to his left and Mounds to his right. He actually has a little trough to play this ball up. The shot does not have much break, Denny, and certainly we've seen it made before here, so. Well, Jeff Breho made it look awful easy. It's a good 50-foot little chip and run here. Played off the back foot. Probably a wedge.
Phil 2 under on the day, and work to be done for a par 13. Let's go to 14 now, and Tim Conley with his second.
With the 6-iron from 180 yards. Ooh, and that was all over it. Good looking shot that was.
Back to the 10th a moment ago. Roger Salazar for a birdie. Up ahead to 16, let's go to Jeff Breho, who's got it underneath the hole. This for a 3.
It's working up another one of those little slopes, Denny, right in front of him, probably a 1.5 foot elevation change. Here comes up the slope. A little more speed, and it was another birdie for Jeff Breho, but he'll settle for par.
Back to the 11th, and Jerry Kelly with his second.
He's got a sort of a funny lie. Only 2/3 of the ball is sitting above the grass. From 225, downwind and slightly from the left.
That's running into the bunker, Peter, and that won't be a difficult bunker shot. It may be even one he can make.
May have even been the play, given that that would have been a tough ball to get the elevation on to carry it to the green, given the line.
Yeah, I think he resigned himself to the fact that he'd just put it in that front bunker and take his chances from there.
To the 13th a moment ago, and Chris Smith for his 4th birdie on the day.
Chris Smith lighting it up on the backside.
Saturday's moving day, and that's exactly what Mr. Smith has on his mind. He's backed up the van and started to load on the furniture. And now let's go to 10 and Hugh Royer.
Hugh has 109 yards to the pin. Just a very smooth sand wedge for Hugh. Right now the wind is a little bit behind the players.
Down. Oh, come on.
Caught that a little flush.
Russell Beardsdorf has about 85 yards to the pin, also directly downwind. Either a full lob wedge or just a very easy normal sand wedge.
See how my little sign is?
Well, the ball's starting to take one kick now, Denny, and that'll keep these guys a little more honest on the backside.
Michael Christie, the 3rd player here at number 10.
Michael about a yard closer than Russell. Just under 85 yards to the pin, playing the ball way back in his stance. L wedge.
Get up there.
That's the mic.
Let's go now to the third shot at 14 of Scott Ford from one edge of the green to the other.
What a beautiful lag putt there.
Some of the prominent pros that failed to get to Saturday afternoon just gives you an idea of how much competition there is out here on the Nike Tour.
Well, the course was not playing easy with 25-mile-an-hour winds the first 2 days, and it's pretty easy to make some bogeys out in that kind of wind. You start missing shots, they can end up in some funny places.
To the 15th we go. Short game shot here for Eric Johnson.
Well, Eric laid it up in a good spot to have a good look at this pin. 115 yards. Wind kind of crossing him a little bit and a little bit into him. That looked like a hard wedge. Good play. That wedge behind the hole, spin it back. Well done there.
To 14T and Mr. Smith.
It's headed a little left.
Shot, Chris.
And that is absolutely murdered. That's 330 or so.
He said so admiringly. You'd love to hit one just once in your life like that, wouldn't you? Huh?
No.
Stay left.
You're back at
Stay
me.
left.
Gosh.
Stay left.
Chris. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Well, these are the folks that haven't yet won out here, and yet they're very much in contention to get to the top 10 at the end of 95.
Yeah, we see Franklin Langham with 83 and Larry Silvera with 80. Kerry Rusnak with 75. One win probably puts these guys up in the top 10 and gets them out on the PGA Tour next year.
Back to 11 from the bunker, Jerry Kelly.
He's got a perfect lie in the bunker, about a 25-foot bunker shot. You sure like his chances of getting this 5 feet or closer than you do Peter McNeely's chances of lasting 5 rounds or less tonight.
Look at this.
That left for a 4th birdie on the day.
Go.
Back to 12 we go. Jackson Brigman next to play.
With a 9-iron, there's a nice shot.
To 10, Hugh Royer the third, trying to roll it down there for a birdie.
Good row.
But you almost feel like kicking yourself when you're 70 yards from the green and you don't get it in there where you can knock it in for a birdie. Hugh Royer the third, leading by 1 when we come back to Odessa, Texas.
Every golfer knows the rule. Play the ball where it lies.
Nice shot, man.
When you visit South Carolina, you'll see just how enjoyable it can be to play by the rules. Over 200 courses and weather that invites you to play all year round. For your free South Carolina golf guide, call 1-800-872-2102.
Build the Liger Jones. A career putting criminal, he always comes up short. Don't be guilty of a bad golf game. Practice with the pros. On the Golf Channel Academy.
Tonight on the Golf Channel, Golf Central at 11, followed by Leaderboard Report at 11:30, and Golf Magazine's private lessons at 12 midnight Eastern Time.
A moment ago, Russ Beiersdorf to try and get to 8 under par at the 10th. Got a good look at Hugh Royer's roll and took advantage of it.
That's a pretty silky putting stroke.
To the 11th, Dave Miley for birdie.
About 6 feet inside right putt, up the slope.
Talk about a wild day. How about 2 birdies, an eagle, a bogey, and a triple bogey? Par has not been much in the picture today. Let's go to 16 now and the second shot of Chad McGee.
These guys have just been tearing up this 400-yard par 4. He's playing second easiest on the golf course, but the pin all the way back left today on a little plateau. Got to be very exact with the sand wedge. And that's caught below that ridge. They're going to have a little more trouble making birdie here today at 16. Although they've made 66 birdies here in the first 2 days.
To the 11th we go in the second. We'll make this Jerry Kelly at the 11th. And this for his 4th birdie on the day to get to within 1 of Hugh Royer III.
After a splendid bunker shot, this very short putt with no break.
Nike Tour's leading birdie man continues to post some serious numbers out here. And there is the aforementioned Roger Salazar coming off a bogey.
Well, and he's not drawn a good lie at all. Both sitting way down. You do miss fairways here. You can come up with some terrible lies. Rough is a little spotty. Roger's drawn a terrible, very bad one here. He's not going to be able to get to the green. Came out hot. Probably a good break for him. It gets into the rough where he can get a sand wedge underneath it and pop it up in the air. He'd gone probably 10 more yards right. He'd had a little more green to work with, but I think he's pretty happy with that after that lie.
All right, Jeff Gove next to play here at 11.
Oh, and there's Jeff way over there in the right rough. One shot behind his playing partners. Ball sitting up. He's got 3 iron. It's an uphill lie. He'll have to try to take this left to the bunker. Keep the flex in that left knee, right at it. And that again will be just like Jerry Kelly's shot, not a tough bunker shot.
To 12, Franklin Langham to get to 8 under par. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The 93 champ beginning to make his move, 4 under par here in round number 3.
You think these guys can putt out here at all?
They're finding the bottom here today.
Hopefully. Cup looks like it's got a magnet in it.
Speaking of birdies, a moment ago, Eric Johnson at 15 after a beautiful wedge over the top of the flagstick.
Oh, what a good birdie that was. Well played wedge shot.
Now Jackson Brigman for birdie at the 12th. I don't care what you tell me, Jim. That wind affects the shots from the fairway, but it's a whole lot easier to make putts when it's a little more calm out there.
Well, if you're not being blown around, you can stay a little steadier, and these guys are certainly enjoying this lull in the wind.
All right, after a monster mash here at 14, Chris Smith checking out the yardage, and right now he is in the twilight zone. Darrison, a player, has been out that far at 14 all week long.
Well, he's already had 4 birdies and an eagle and a lone bogey on the 4th hole.
82, 89.
There you go. 82.
And 9.
And 9 to get it over that little ledge right there. 445-yard hole, folks. That means that's about 350 off the tee.
Not such a tough hole if you can hit it 350 yards from fairway.
There's not a lot of holes that are tough when you can hit it 350 straight down the guts.
Well, Hugh Royer isn't going to hit it 350, but he'd sure like to get this one in the fairway, that's for sure. He leads by 1, 3 under on the day, and going to wait for somebody to pass on by there before he pulls the trigger.
Right now the wind is blowing at about 2 o'clock and a little bit behind the players. Is that Jimmy Connor's grunt?
He wasn't leaving any in the bag.
He's got that bump going, Gary Smith.
Oh, that's good up the right-hand side of the fairway.
Bumped it right past one of his playing partners, Hugh Royer III, by a shot. And the chase is joined here in the Permian Basin Open. In this Permian Basin postcard, we turn back the clock 1 year to the '94 event right here at Mission Dorado. Bruce Vaughn didn't pick up a golf club until age 20. 17 years later, he would find the winner's circle here in America for the very first time. Upon his arrival here in Odessa, Vaughn had already picked up win #1 in Pensacola. Here, though, Vaughn fired an opening round 68 and then followed that with 3 consecutive 67s for a tournament record of 19 under par at 269. By virtue of his 6th place finish on the money list, Vaughn earned exempt status for the '95 PGA Tour.
Golf became more than a game for you. For me, it was hearing stories about legendary players like Bobby Jones. I knew I wanted to be that kind of player. If golf is more than just a game for you, you'll want to join the Partners Program.
The exclusive tour card is only one benefit of membership. A full year of On Tour magazine, tournament tickets, and access to great tour courses are all part of the new PGA Tour Partners, supporting a charitable tradition.
So join the rest of us who think that golf is more than just a game.
The best on the Nike Tour collide in Odessa, Texas for the 1995 Nike Permian Basin Open. Choose your tour, the Nike Permian Basin Open, the final round, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on the Golf Channel.
On Wednesday, for his birthday, the Golf Channel will be showing 2 hours of Shell's Wonderful World of Golf featuring Peter Thompson, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back. Mid-size putter in hand, in search of birdie #6 on the day. Chad McGee, who opened up the event with a 68. And now let's go to 13, and Franklin Langham coming off a birdie.
This hole playing 199 yards today, and it's really kind of a funny pin. It sits right on top of a mound, a very gentle mound, but difficult putting once you get onto the green. Beautiful looking par 3. A good look at the leg action now, Franklin Langham. Fine shot.
Let's go to the 12th. Second shot of Jerry Kelly.
From the absolute center of the fairway, 121 yards to this pin, which is cut 3/4 of the way back, right in the center on the second shelf. Very accessible. Almost no breeze.
Peter, what these guys hit off the tee?
Jerry hit a 2-iron to this point. Frank Connor hit 3-wood. Beautiful tempo on that swing.
Yeah, tremendous results. 6 feet right underneath the hole.
Just a moment ago, long hitting Brent Geiberger to try and get to 9 under par and to within 1 shot of Hugh Royer III.
Slow down. And it did. That'd be a tap-in birdie for Brent Geiberger.
After a 350-yard drive and a little sand wedge to this point, Chris Smith to get to 9 under. Thank you very much for back-to-back birdies. And the toughest hole at Mission Dorado. Not too difficult for the unshaven one today. What's this, a new look for Chris? Leaderboard look. Hugh Royer III hanging on, but the posse is starting to close in on him a little bit.
Well, there's 13 players within 3 shots, and anything can happen if the wind comes up.
To the 11th we go. Roger Salazar with a short birdie putt here.
Well, Roger hit a nice little pitch out of the rough in front of the green after driving it in a poor lie to the right side of the fairway. This one just inside the right edge. He's been stroking it well. And pours it right in.
2 under on the day. And back in the fairway, Michael Christie.
Michael's got 230 yards to the pin. Wind helping slightly. Going with the 3-iron.
Got a little bit of Lee Trevino action going there. Likes to play the ball off the right hip. Beautiful shot, pinned high.
Russell Beardsdorf, after a nice drive, has about 215 yards to the pin. 5-iron. Maybe a tad left.
Good play. As good as these guys are putting, anything on the green has a chance. But that's a putt that comes back over a rise down to the pin, so not an easy putt from there, but I figure you're going to 2-putt.
Well, Hugh's about 6 inches closer than Russell. Also got a 5-iron out. A pink shafted 5-iron, no less.
Those titanium shafts. Daly used to use them.
Setting up for a cut. May have come over that a little bit.
Yeah, they could put a blanket over those 3.
Go for him.
Ahead to 16 now, and Eric Johnson. 1 shot behind Hugh Royer III. Eric 5 under on the backside alone, so he's burning it up here at Mission Dorado.
35 out of last 6. Driven this one perfectly up the left side of the fairway. 2 large bunkers on the right-hand side of the fairway with huge faces on them you have to avoid off the tee. This will be just a little wedge. Gets it back onto the top level, and it stays there. That'll give him another shot at birdie.
A moment ago, Tim Conley from the greenside bunker at 15. Yeah, that's one of those sand-in-the-face shots.
Well, you don't do that, Tim.
Damn,
were you mad at yourself, or what was the deal there, Tim?
That's it. He's punishing himself there. More dirt in the face. Jerry Kelly coming off a birdie, looking for another one.
He knows just what this putt's going to do. There were 2 putts from the other side of the hole. He's got to hit inside right, medium firm.
That one poured it right
and so he did.
And now Jerry Kelly tied for the lead. To the 18th we go, and Jeff Braho with his second.
From 180 yards, pin today cut 10 yards on the front edge. Well, with that ball below his feet, he just couldn't get the club face squared.
To 13 after a beautiful iron shot, Franklin Langham for birdie.
What happened?
First one we've seen about that size that hasn't gone in today. That's what Franklin's saying.
That's the first putt we've seen that has not gone in. Unbelievable how good these guys are putting. I've never seen so many putts made in such a short time.
Let's go to 15. Hopefully he had the Visine out after splashing himself a couple times with dirt. Tim Conley to get to 10 under par. 6 birdies already today, and not a bogey in the round.
Kind of been stalled out here since the 10th hole, though, Danny. He will not be happy with par there when he could reach the green in 2.
Tim Kiley to stay at 9 under, 1 shot behind Jerry Kelly, and Hugh Royer III will be right back.
Not really. Graphite's expensive, so to cut corners, many graphite shaft makers use inferior materials, not true temper. They have a 70-year reputation to maintain, and they work with the top club companies that demand the best. So should you. If you play graphite, be sure to play the best. Play True Temper. I do.
True Temper's played all over the world. Club makers like Ping, Maxfly, Top Flight, Tommy Armour, and others. See for yourself. Take a head count.
A lot can happen in 24 hours. People win. People lose. Dreams begin and end. Celebrations. Disasters. Miracles. And drama. Bringing the world of golf to your game. Golf Central.
Live every night, only on the Golf Channel.
Welcome back to the 11th. And in an effort to get to 12 under par, Hugh Royer III with an eagle opportunity.
About 35 feet, should swing to the right. Got to be careful not to race this one by.
It straightens out there. That's really a optical illusion. Just you figure it would have to break towards the front of the green. The other 2 guys in his group are sure happy they saw that first.
A moment ago at the 13th, Jackson Brigman for birdie. Like an instant replay of 12 for him. Right of the hole, 10 feet, pour it in, give the caddy the putter, put down the birdie, go to the next hole. And let's go back to 11, and a good teach after watching Hugh Royer III, I would think, Gary.
Absolutely, Danny. I think Michael got a good little bit of help from that.
Sit.
Yes, he
Go
did.
In.
He went from sit to go in with about a foot to go.
That was graduate school.
Oh, a good first look makes it so much easier. Let's go now to Roger Salazar.
When that hits the backside of the ridge and pours on down towards the hole, that's probably a gimme.
And now back to 11 to try and tie the skin. Russell Beiersdorf for eagle.
Been speeding up since Thursday. The wind's drying them out.
Ooh, that's got to grow.
A little tentative.
Ahead to 13 a moment ago, Jerry Kelly at the par 3.
This ball's moving a little bit left.
Also a moment ago, after a fine wedge from the fairway, Eric Johnson for a birdie and a share of the lead.
Incredible.
Guys are picking a lot of birdie putts out of the hole here. Now, Hugh Royer III has to make a comebacker for his 4 at 11. Gary?
Yes, it was interesting as he and Michael Christie walked onto the green. They said they didn't think they wanted to miss the green to the right with their second shot, but when they got up here, found that it was probably better to be on the right-hand edge. Anyway, about a 10-footer back up the hill for birdie, excuse me.
Well, if Hugh Royer wasn't hot before in this 95-degree temperature, he's heating up right now. 15, the second of Chris Smith.